Ken Willis podcast here. We're going to do a quick gun shout out to the Micro Dagger by Palmetto State Armory. This is a completely safe weapon here. All ammunition gone, been checked, so please do not think I'm just waving a gun around. That would not be good. So, yeah, I have carried a Glock 19 probably for I don't know, almost 10 years off and on every day, pretty much. I've had a Glock. When I worked at Dewey's Gun and Pawn, I did obviously get like a lot more guns more frequently. So I've carried SIG, I've carried everything. I don't know that I've carried Smith and Wesson just because there were nicer guns available to me. So I had Glock, I never actually carried a HK. I almost bought an HK, but considering like how much money it was and that I already had a Glock, I don't know, didn't need that. But I'm trying to think what else I've carried. I have carried CZ for quite a while. I actually carried that when I worked in a school, and I was supposed to carry. So, but carried that, carried a subcompact CZ. I have carried revolvers, quite a few times actually. I even carried black powder one time just to say I had done it, but I know. But yeah, I do prefer the Glock platform, and this is a very affordable Glock alternative. And I'll show you just so you can see here. Let me try to make this so I can do what I need to do. Okay, there. So there it is. There's the PSA Micro 9mm. This one I actually bought it at Dewey's Gun and Pawn. I would recommend you go there. They have an amazing gun selection, and also they have jewelry for the ladies, and they have tools and all kind of things. But yeah, I go for the guns. So yeah, it does carry 11 rounds. It is a 9mm. I don't know if they have this in other calibers. I would assume they probably do or will. Um, yeah, but 9mm, I like 9mm. I don't have a problem with it. There are people who, you gotta have you gotta have a 45, or you're gonna. Well, no, it's all about shot placement, and 9mm gives you a lot of ammo. I do have a 45 that I have carried quite a bit too. I've carried it. It's a Desert Eagle, but not what you're thinking. It's a Desert Eagle made 1911, all stainless, made in Israel. I know. But you only get about 7 shots. You get 6 in the slide, 6 in the mag, and 1 in the actual chamber. So, yeah, I mean, you can carry extra mags too, but this is a great little gun. And the reason I got this gun, and I'll just be totally honest, is that little thing right there. That little RMR attachment. You can put a little red dot sight on it. Let's see if we have a picture of one. There's a picture of one where you put a little red dot sight on it, and I'm covering it up. There's a nice little red dot. I would like to try that, and I didn't want to get, money is tight, so I didn't want to spend a pile of money on a gun, then have to spend a pile of money on a good optic. So the gun I got for about, well, I actually traded it. I actually traded this gun. I traded another gun for this one. So I actually didn't pay a thing for this weapon, technically speaking. But I guess I think the price tag was like $259 at Dewey's because it was a secondhand gun, which it looks like they have hardly touched it. So I don't have a problem with that. And I don't have a problem with buying used guns because honestly, like if it's a good quality gun, it doesn't matter as long as someone hasn't tried to do any home gunsmithing on it, which is something you want to look for. And if you don't know how to look for that, just buy one brand new or take someone with you who knows what to look for because you don't want to come home and find out somebody watched a YouTube video and decided they were a gunsmith. That's not cool either. All right to business. Let's just get down to it. It is a striker fired pistol, just like a Glock. It weighs 15, almost 16 ounces, so not even a pound unloaded. And you can carry really lightweight ammunition. I'm not a huge fan of that. I mean, it's great for point blank and it's great for just like weight, but if you have to do performance based firing, at any kind of distance, then whatever. It's fine. It is about 6.5 inches long, 1 inch thick. So it's like it's you can take it apart and it is totally a Glock. I'll just let you look at it here. It's completely a Glock. If you're familiar with Glocks at all and you look at that, that looks so familiar, so wonderful. So barrel length on this one's about 3.41 inches. It does give you a steel guide rod. Even Glock doesn't do that out of the factory, so that was kind of cool. And of course, you're probably wondering, like, well, how is this so close to a Glock and yet it's not? Well, it's called a Glock clone. The patent on Glocks is basically up, from what I understand, and so now you can make clones. Now, I think the patent that's up is like on the Gen 3 Glocks. So they used basically everything they could use out of a Gen 3 Glock, and then they did some of their own engineering on it. And by they, I mean PSA. And you have basically a cheaper Glock. And from everything I've heard, people love these. I haven't heard anything bad about it. And for what it is and for how much money you spend, it's pretty hard to beat it. The one thing I guess I don't like so far, the trigger is I'm just having to get used to the trigger. I'm used to the Glock trigger. This is very similar in function but different in feel. So it's a more flat, wide trigger. I know you can't really see that, but the trigger has some width to it. That's a little weird for me, but again, not a big deal. This is a up close defense gun. This is for one purpose. This is not for competitive shooting. This is not even my combat pistol. This is just to carry something small, and if somebody's wants to bother you and you have to pull your gun, you just pull it out at point blank and empty it into them. So that's what this is for. I would like to put the RMR sight on there. That's what I want to do. That's the plan, and maybe I'll do that eventually. Got to save up some money for that, but you can get a good one for about $200, and you probably could get a really good one for about $250 to $300. So Holosun is probably the one I would recommend. Vortex makes a good one. I'm not sure what the price on that is because I have never shot. That's the thing. I've never shot. As far as I know, I've never shot. I might have fired maybe 5 rounds in a range when we were testing some products out when I worked at Dewey's, but I don't think I've ever actually fired a quick reflex sight on a pistol. Now, why am I doing that? Well, I just want to try it. I've never done it. I've always been iron sights. I shoot really well with iron sights, and I just feel like, I don't want to be anti-technology just for the sake of it. So, let's see. It is a Cerakoted slide, just like Glock's. I think it's a little better Cerakoting, actually. From what I understand, it is stainless steel. So it is a solid slide. It looks just like a Glock. Some of the parts are interchangeable. I don't know exactly which parts are. From the looks of it, most of your standard base parts are totally interchangeable. There's a little bit. I don't know if the guide rods would be interchangeable though. I do notice the guide rod sticks out just a little bit, but I mean it's like supposed to, I guess. But that's the only thing I noticed that kind of looked off about the whole design. The slide cuts are slanted instead of vertical. Don't care about that really. The grip is a little different. It's kind of a smoother textured grip versus it's kind of like a very fine sandpaper feel compared to the Glock's more what's the word, segmented feel to it. Yeah, so I do believe, I'm not positive if they do this in 40 and 45. They probably will. I think that if they don't, they will. But for now, I think 9mm is pretty popular right now. Great gun for a lady. I mean, obviously women, like, a lot of times they'll say it's tough to operate the slide, especially if the lady is older or if they have any kind of arthritis or any kind of thing like that going on. There are tricks to get around that, but whatever. I usually recommend ladies carry a revolver. It's just simple, foolproof, and it works, and it will not misfire, misfeed, or jam. And I carry a revolver sometimes for the same reason. It's going to work. But again, I also love my automatics. I love having like this one. I can put 10 in the mag and 1 in the chamber, and I have 11 rounds. I have another mag with it. Dewey's was kind enough to set me up with, and these are Glock 43X mags. And yeah, that's another cool thing is these daggers take Glock mags. So that's cool. And you can also have let's see, Magpul makes mags, and then there are probably, I think there's another aftermarket company that makes them as well. There is one I think you can make. I think they have that it fits that actually holds 15 rounds. So if you really want that, you could have 30 rounds on your person, 31 rounds on your person just with 2 mags. So I will be shooting this hopefully tonight, and I will let you guys know what I think in the comments. But yeah, check it out, the Micro Dagger by PSA. I don't like PSA as far as their customer service goes in store. Online, that's fine, that's great. In store, like especially in the Greenville store, I have never liked their personalities or anything. So I'm not getting paid by them to say this at all. But I do like their products, and I've had their ARs. I've recommended their ARs to people. I would buy a PSA AR so fast you wouldn't believe it. I would buy it over anything else because it's a quality gun, and actually a lot of times many of their parts are actually made by FN, and so they're actually FN Herstal, and Palmetto's warehouses are like right next door. So all the time they are doing, if they have a shortage of barrels or parts, they interchange parts. So yeah, if you're getting a PSA, you're getting a quality AR. If you want to pay $2,000 for a Daniel Defense, and you're gonna, you want to be like certified for it to fall out of a helicopter, fine. I don't know anyone who realistically has that problem. So enjoy, and I hope you find that useful. If you have any questions or comments about the gun, you can put it in the comment section, and I'll try to answer them. Have a great day.